So it's official. Anthony Joshua will defend his IBF, WBA, and WBO World Heavyweight titles on Saturday, the 20th of June at Tottenham Hotspur's new stadium in London. Now, this is obviously a mandatory defense for Anthony Joshua. It's a fight that he had to take. There's no way around it other than maybe a unification. But unfortunately, Deontay Wilder has invoked the rematch clause for a rubber match with Tyson Fury. So there will be no unification. Apparently, Deontay Wilder's not interested in any kind of step-aside deal. He wants that straight crack at Fury. I personally think that that is a mistake by Deontay Wilder. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Wilder's going to go out there and smoke Fury in the rubber match. I seriously doubt it based upon what I saw in the last fight. But you never know. It's heavyweight boxing and strange things can happen. But I personally feel like stylistically, Wilder's got a better chance against AJ than he has against Fury. So at the very least, he should hedge his bets. Let Fury and AJ fight first. Maybe AJ wins. And then Wilder can get a crack at AJ. You know, maybe they could put a deal together like that. But anyway, that's not happening. So what we do have is Joshua versus Pulev, his IBF mandatory. Now, Pulev has been around a long time. He's only got one loss to Vladimir Klitschko. He's got wins over people like Derek Chisora. Who else has he beaten now? Derek Chisora, he beat Ustinov, he beat Dimitrenko. This is back when Ustinov and Dimitrenko was still fairly decent, I guess. He beat Hughie Fury most recently. So he's been around, very experienced fighter. Was a decent amateur, not an elite level amateur, but he was a decent amateur. And he has that typical old school Eastern European style where he stands very straight up. He moves in and out of range. He kind of fences with the left hand. And his jab is by far his best weapon, Kubrat Pulev. He's got a very, very good jab. It's a fast jab. It's a very solid jab. And it's accurate. And Pulev is also a very patient fighter. He doesn't mind waiting and playing chess with you and then beating you by landing 2 more punches per round than you. He doesn't mind doing that. He's happy to do that. I personally think that Anthony Joshua cannot afford to play Kubrat Pulev's game in this fight. If you stand and box with Pulev, he's probably going to beat you. Klitschko was able to beat Pulev, obviously. Klitschko really beat Pulev, not with the jab, but with power punches. You go back and watch that fight. That's one of the few fights where Vladimir Klitschko's jab is not his dominant punch. Klitschko won that fight with left hooks and also with straight right hands over the top. But primarily the left hook was the key to Vladimir Klitschko winning the fight. Because when they were in the middle of the ring trading jabs, Pulev was matching Klitschko. In fact, within the first few seconds of that fight, Pulev hurt Klitschko with a real solid jab and tried to follow up with right hands and whatnot. But he got a bit too greedy and Klitschko caught him with that left hook, which dropped Kubrat Pulev in the first round. And ultimately, several rounds later, the left hook ended the fight with Kubrat Pulev sprawled out on the canvas from a tremendous Vladimir Klitschko left. So Anthony Joshua, I'm sure, will be looking at that Klitschko fight and he'll be looking to get his own left hook off. Perhaps that's something that Kubrat Pulev is vulnerable to because he does stand straight up. He does tend to pull back from punches. And if you're quick enough on your feet and with the left hook, you might be able to catch him with his chin in the air, which is exactly what Klitschko did several times. Pulev's left hook, I'm not saying he doesn't have a left hook at all, and he's a big man at the end of the day, 250 pounds, but he's not known for having a left hook. He's not a prolific left hooker, Kubrat Pulev. So if he does land a big, heavy left hook, it's going to be once in a blue moon. For the most part, it's his jab, which is the main weapon, and he does come in with an overhand right. Not the straightest punch you've ever seen. A lot of people can anticipate Kubrat Pulev's overhand right, which is why I think it's not that prolific. But yeah, he may be still vulnerable to left hooks. You have to imagine he's not going to be as sharp now as he was when he fought Klitschko. He might be smarter now. He might be wiser now, but he's not going to be the athlete he was when he fought Klitschko a few years ago. So AJ should have the advantages when it comes to reflexes, particularly when picking power shots and stuff like that. He should have the advantage there when it comes to reflexes. Both guys have got pretty fast feet for big men. AJ showed his foot speed in the Andy Ruiz rematch. Kubrat Pulev has always been good at bouncing around in and out of range and all that kind of stuff. I always felt as though this is a fight where AJ is going to have to take it to Pulev to ultimately get in control and win. And I think AJ knows that, because I saw an interview with him, I think it was yesterday, and AJ said, or he at least hinted, that he's not going to fight the same way he did against Andy Ruiz. You know, stick and move and all that kind of stuff. He knows that he's going to have to switch up his style for certain opponents. And yeah, I believe against Kubrat Pulev, he's going to have to take it to Pulev. He's going to have to get it on it, because Pulev has got no inside game at all. This is not a man who can fight on the inside. So AJ can fight on the inside, and therefore this is the fight to do it. Which is kind of like the opposite of the Andy Ruiz fight, right? Andy Ruiz, he's not so good on the outside. Slow feet, stands straight up. You can crack him with left hooks and right hands at long range. So that's where you want to keep it. You don't want to go inside with him, because that's where Ruiz is real dangerous. With Pulev, it's almost the opposite. At long range, Pulev's jab is a serious weapon. But up close, Pulev doesn't have much. AJ is way better than Kubrat Pulev up close. You know, and I don't think Pulev is particularly powerful up close either. Yeah? At least not in any kind of prolific way. So I personally think that AJ will probably have issues early in this fight, dealing with Kubrat Pulev's jab and range control. But ultimately, he'll realize, I have to take this guy into the trenches, basically, grab the fight by the scruff of the neck, and beat the fight out of Kubrat Pulev. And I think he'll probably do that and get Pulev out of there, I reckon, in the second half of the fight. Maybe around the 9th, something like that. Anthony Joshua will get the win against Kubrat Pulev. But I do expect some tricky moments in the fight for AJ. Because, as I say, Kubrat Pulev is an awkward fighter to face. He's awkward. Even against Vladimir Klitschko, Klitschko dropped him several times, but again, it wasn't a walk in the park for Klitschko. He did get hit with some shots, and he was in the unusual position of being in there with a fighter who could match his jab. So if you can match Vladimir Klitschko's jab, then that means you got a pretty damn serious jab. You know, and remember, Pulev didn't fight Klitschko the way Fury did, by moving around all over the place and just staying out of range of Klitschko's jab and having the longer jab. No, Pulev fought Klitschko and matched Klitschko's jab by standing in the center of the ring with him and saying, okay, let's have a jabbing contest. But it's just Klitschko's power punches, which Kubrat Pulev was no match for. The left hooks, the right hands, etc. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev, his mandatory challenger at Tottenham. I think it's great to have a homecoming fight. AJ is taking a big pay cut because he could have made a lot more money fighting elsewhere, but he wants to bring it back to the UK where he's had all his best nights. And bearing in mind that it might be one of the few Anthony Joshua fights that happens in the UK over the next few years, I think it's a great thing for Anthony Joshua to do. Because he knows that the Fury fight, the Wilder fight, they might be abroad. So this might be one of the few chances that British people get to see AJ on home soil. So yeah, should be an interesting fight, but most people will be picking Anthony Joshua to win. Obviously, Anthony Joshua can't get complacent. Andy Ruiz already beat him. I'm sure that's in the back of his mind, and he's going to prepare diligently for this one because he can't afford any more slip-ups. So, yeah, let me know, people. What do you think in the comment section below? It's Hatman, I'm out. Hatman merch is now available. We got t-shirts, vests, hoodies, and more. Just click the link below. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.